What's up, everybody? How's it going? It's Alexander Williamson here with the secret history living inside your aquariums. So, how's everybody doing? I want to apologize for not being so punctual on the live streams. I know I've been kind of MIA with the content. I've only been doing like a video a week for 3 weeks now, and before that, I was gone for a week and a half. So I apologize first off for that. My health has been a bit under the weather. You can probably see I'm kind of puffy. I had a autoimmune reaction where I swelled up, had to take prednisone, similar to like an allergy attack, but it's lupus. You get it in your skin and your organs, and I happen to swell up. So I just haven't been on top of the world, and then when I am not feeling well, I had to go make some money, because life costs money. But let's forget all that for a minute. I just kind of wanted to give a reason instead of leaving y'all hanging. Why? Like, it's not because I have lost any lust for the hobby. So how's everybody doing tonight? Tonight, I wanted to talk about animal lover number one, who has been so stoked. She wrote me a message. I missed you live stream. So, hello, animal lover. I hope you're doing well. Sorry, I didn't get live streaming yesterday. My wife and I had some people over for dinner, and then we ran around all day and visited my parents. So, all right, let's get to talking. Let me see. Preston, John, how's it going, man? Nola Jane, Fish Rich, Chara, howdy. Goose Not Maverick, what is going on? And then Deborah Collins, hello from New Zealand. Hi, Kiwis. Welcome to Seattle, I guess, Seattle time zone. Need to show my obligatory Dr. Pepper product placement. Still not paying me, but man, I wish they would. George from Greece, hello. How is it going? Nothing but Stardust. I like that name. S. Brownson, hey, it's me from Black Friday Guy, the wet spot. Oh, hey, what's up, man? How is it going? Thanks for joining. I love the wet spot. I'm gonna get demonetized. Thanks, wet spot. No, wet spot in Portland, Tropical Fish, Portland, Oregon. Killer store. If you're looking for rare fish, they're the place to go. If you're looking for cichlids, they're the place to go. They're also the cichlid exchange if you're not hip to that, if you haven't figured out that they're one and the same online. But they're also on Aquabid a lot of the stuff that they have. But I drive all the way down to Portland from Seattle, a good 3 hours each way. Sometimes 4 if there's traffic, 5 if your wife needs to pee. You can tell she's not home. But no, it's probably me who has to pee in all reality. But great shop. I wish it was closer to home. And I know Portland's not that close to the rest of the country or New Zealand or Greece. But it's worth checking out if you're in the Northwest. That is definitely a shop worth checking out. So today, I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys have on anything fish related. I'll probably go around to some tanks and just kind of give you guys some updates. I posted a video the other night of the neocaradinas that were outside. It's gotten all the way down to 35 degrees outside, and I actually checked with my digital thermometer, and it was only 38 degrees. I think, yeah, 38.6 or something like that in their water the other night. So it was colder than I thought. In the video, I think I said I thought it had gotten down to the low 50s, high 40s that night. But in such a small tub, it's a 1.5 gallon tub, no filtration and no food. Now, if I had put food in it, I think the shrimp would have died. I think that they would have gotten a nitrate ammonia spike and would have died. But since they had rainwater and then me topping things off a little bit, and by the way, I didn't use dechlorinator either. This was like an experiment to see how far I could push it. And 15 of them survived. All the red and yellow ones that were in there, they were all kind of culls anyways, from my nice colored ones. But they made it except for the ones that I witnessed getting eaten by raccoons. So raccoons visit every night. They couldn't see the dark blue dreams, and they couldn't see some of the other, the green ones they couldn't see. They couldn't see the carbons. They couldn't see snowballs. So it's kind of a test too to see what does well in the wild, which is interesting because it could mean that there's pockets of those color variations in the wild. Bloody Marys seem to do okay, especially when I had the reddish orange rocks with some red rocks in there too. Um, it was actual glacial till is what the substrate was. So that's I went mining a couple years ago and I brought back a bunch of the gravel that I had filtered out from a riverbed in Montana. So I brought that back because it has just kind of cool rocks from all over the upper plains area, upper plains states that the glaciers scoured out. Any case, I've thought about doing a tank with that. Let's see here. Alan, thank you so much, buddy, for the UNS. So that's kind of what we are here to, what I was going to chat about. Christy, how's it going? Is the UNS tank, the 90p. So this is bugging me. What is this? I just got this hat for, oh, I see. So they want you to be able to wear this hat, like, I don't know, like you're going to rob a place, or they want you to be able to wear it reversibly. And shout out to Washington State Cougars, but shout out to the Huskies too. I have no particular loyalty. I went to a different school, but I did get a hat for free, and I like cats more. So sorry, dogs. All right, so let's see here. We got a question. Then we're gonna get into, after we get some questions out of the way. We're going to talk about the UNS 90P that I have. So that's like a 44.6 gallon tank. And I've decided, I think, what I want to do with it. And so I was literally going to sketch that out for you guys, show you the sketches I have, and then discuss the stock list and the plant stock list. And I'm going to announce a bit of a giveaway that we're going to do on the channel. And I'll come out with the full details later as per normal, but I'm too excited. I can't not tell you guys. So hang tight for that. But let's answer some of these questions real quick. All right. So Kimberly says, can a fish really be so mean that he makes the other fish jump out of the tank? Long story short, made a new tank for my adopted black skirt tetras after moving them from another tank because they all made the other fish scared. Yeah, if you have fish that are mean, you can have them definitely scare other fish out of the tank. Now that being said, you're probably gonna have fish that are predisposed to jumping. So like pseudomagills, they're gonna jump no matter what. Hatchet fish, a lot of those topwater fish, African butterfly fish. Some of the danios, rainbow fish, a lot of them hang out in the top to mid waters, and they will jump if startled. That being said, also killifish, I've seen a lot of them jump. I've seen catfish jump, oddly enough. I've seen cories pop out of the water like they're going to go back down and flip out of the tank. That's less common. But if they have the ability to do that anyhow, and there's a long list of fish that have jumped out of my tanks, cribs, Honduran red points, Oscars, so all the way from the bigger or mid-sized cichlids, I guess, bigger for home aquarium, down to the little teeny guys, the clown killies or rocket killies. I've had a lot of them jump out when I have a low rimless tank. If you don't give them a good 1.5 or 2 inches, they can jump out. Or you can just put a lid on it. I don't like lids on my tank either. I know a lot of people don't. I like being able to look down into my tank. It's calming. It makes me feel like I'm actually visiting a river or a creek or something. But it's just a matter of preference. But, you know, when that happens, maybe putting a lid on the tank and seeing how they're doing would be a good idea. Put a piece of, you can go get like greenhouse corrugated plastic, and you can have them cut it for you at like Home Depot or Lowe's or any of the hardware stores, True Value, and then put that over the top, custom cut it. I've used hot knives to cut it, but that you don't need that unless you're doing a lot of it. But basically it's a recycled plastic, and you can just put that over the top. That works well. Believe it or not, another thing that works pretty well is grates for commercial refrigerators, or for up in the ceiling when you see like a crisscross, like a grid that is just a plastic grid that's sitting up there in the recessed ceilings, or recess, yes, abscess, not abscess. I had an abscess tooth, by the way, so that took me down for the count the other week. Um, but yeah, so you can use that stuff, and even a grid will stop a lot of the jumping because they're going to be coming at an angle. They're not going to be jumping straight up and then flipping out in like a Fallsbury flop. Um, all right, but if one just hopped out, I don't know that wouldn't alarm me a ton yet. If two, then I would. Three, I'd definitely do it. But sometimes fish just get amped up, and they, yeah, half beaks will jump for sure. Even just, I've had some fish that if you put your hand on the glass, like a kid comes over, like a little 4-year-old or something, 3-year-old, and they're like, fish. Seen them take off and jump before as well. Tetras, yeah. So definitely. Let's see. Yeah, zebra danios, leopard danios, tin winnie danios, kythit, they all jump a lot. Erythromicron, or emerald dwarf rasboras as well, which is the danio, as well as celestial pearl danios. They don't jump so much. Once in a blue moon I've had them jump, but they hang out lower in the water, so they're nice for a nano tank. Pretty excited. Bears Faces just got a dream setup, 65-gallon, ADA power sand, ADA soil, an insane amount of plants, a box of petrified wood. Dude, that is awesome. Congratulations. Yeah, that's the other thing is, do you know of any land plants that would grow well out of the aquarium? I do. I should do a whole episode on that. But most land plants, so to speak, actually most plants in the aquarium hobby. Let me think about that. Yeah, most. So probably like 70%, maybe. Probably, yeah, probably close to 70% actually are terrestrial. So like a lot of the mosses, they grow on land. All the Ludwigias, the Rotalas, they all grow in flooded areas. So they have an immersed and a submerged or emergent growth, uh, where they start in nurseries in Florida, and then that's for the U.S. anyways, but out of the wild as well, Indonesia, Vietnam, Congo, Nigeria. There's plenty of places that grow plants. Israel and South Africa now are both doing more horticulture, aquaculture. Uh, but yeah, so most plants are actually land plants that you could plant. The exceptions would be probably like Valsenaria. Um, let's see, like I think Barclay longifolia is okay outside of water, but it's not going to grow in its form. But I mean, most of the plants, like if we take a look over here, let's just do this for now, and I can just spot you some nice ones. What? I don't know why. Okay. All right. So all your Anubias, they can live outside of water. All your why am I spacing? Crips can live outside of water. Your Java ferns, they can live outside of water. Barclay longifolia, Logonandra meboldi. Barclay longifolia is deeper back in here. I think this one might be a true aquatic, but I might be wrong. But I think a lot of the Aponegitans, these are Madagascar plants, do best underwater. Now, some of these can tolerate, like if they have just really humid conditions, they'll do fine. But in your average house, they may not. Like this corkscrew valve, that would not do well outside of water. Crips, they will do okay outside of water, but it's a completely different type of growth a lot of time. And so it's going to totally die when you put it in water. So if you were at like PetSmart or Petco and getting a plant, honestly, the chances are that they probably, so like African bulbitis, Indian bulbitis, Um, they're all fine. The swords, the Prince Kleiner sword. Let's see what else. All this Anubius, Nana Petite, gold coin Anubius, all that stuff is fine. Let's hop over to the other tank while I'm mentioning stuff that can grow outside. This can also grow. Oh, look, one of my leopard plecos is chilling out in the open a bit. They're getting less shy, which is great. There's 3 in here, and 2 of them hang out now more public. I trimmed back a lot of what was in here, and it really helped wake them up. Okay, let's see here. Um, I want to really thank Alan for the Preston. You're here now. We can start. All right. Well, we did. Um, the other thing is so thank you, Alan. I appreciate it. I'm thinking this will be a similar setup to the 90p. So the 90p, I'm filming a video and I'm not going to release it until it's all together. But I'm filming a video with Sierra Pets, who helped me order it at cost, basically, as well as a very helpful YouTube supporter who frequents that store down in South Seattle. And so I'm going to do a little tour of the store there. It's a nice privately owned mom and pop kind of business. And here's those Malawa shrimp that have that darker light, or I should say light blue tone to them. They're scattered throughout here. And then we've got the little nebula shrimp. All these shrimp in here are from Aquatic Arts. The gold nebula shrimp, they're Caridina, but they just explode in population. And look at my little shrimp tree. Move out of the way, fish. This tree, or this moss, I should say, there are probably 50 baby shrimp in this moss at any given time. So, kind of fun. Yeah, the koi guppies have bred, and here they are. So here's koi guppy, koi guppy, they're all over. And I can sex them already. I could move them elsewhere if need be. Also, I like kind of making more room in this tank. You know, even the CPDs are coming out. The erythromicrons are coming out more. There's one right there. And then also the tinwinnies, they're full size. These are called sometimes gold ring, danios. They're out too. They're a really good mix. So I almost wanted to do and then a clown or rocket Achilles. Rocket is so much better of a name. Look at the little engine on it. It's like, it looks like a little rocket booster. It's red in the center, and then it goes orange and then yellow and then like black smoke around the outside of its tail. Like how could that not be a rocket fish? A clown? Give me a break. Clowns are creepy. So yeah, and then we've also got let's see. Oh, but in here, this is going to be an aquatic plant, actually. Rotala mini butterfly. There's no CO2 going in this tank. This is all just highlights. So this is more pink mini butterfly. Alterna renicii. So a lot of these plants are actually true aquatics in here. But the Rotala, that would be good outside. The lilies are not, obviously, the tiger lilies, and then the Nymphea minutia, the repens, which would be red if I had CO2 and more iron in here. But what I was thinking of doing for stone and hardscape, basically, in the new tank, in the 90p, which will be pretty similar to these dimensions. So it's 18 by 18, so it's the same height, but a little deeper. So it would be a perfect square on either end. And then instead of this width, it's exactly as wide as this table is here. So what has been delaying me is that, one, I hadn't been feeling well. I've been kind of run down. And so I haven't been making the moolah, the extra moolah, to buy the lighting, the filter. I could get a hang on that, but I kind of want to go for an Eheim. And Alan has so kindly contributed to the fund of the tank, which is awesome. But it's then I also my wife said you need a new table where you can hide your extra hardscape and your brine shrimp hatchery and your CO2 and your power strips and all your tools. I was just trimming in there again. But I just wanted to point out that you can actually get and it never shows up well in a live stream, but you can get a decent amount of pink and color just from this is an AE 600 AE rather than a C or an EE or this is a twin starlight. They are spendy. It was retails for like 289 I think, but I mean, it kind of speaks for itself. The moss is doing great. The algae has been non-existent lately. I've got this plant, which I'm really replanting as much as I can. It does well if highlight is in the back. This is Limnophilia bellum. And as it gets bigger and when you hit it with CO2 and ferts, it comes out in pink, yellow, orange, purple, like all different colors. And then the green ones have a gold stripe down the center. So I really like that one, but it kind of grows basically a blade at a time of this narrow plant, and you have to cut it, and it doesn't split. You cut it, and then it just keeps going straight out of where you cut it. So it's not like a normal stem plant. So propagating it has taken some time. I started with 3 shoots, and now there's shoots all over. But it's going to be in the new tank featured prominently, I think. Probably some tiger lilies, probably 3 of them. Also the Bacopa furcata. I love this, especially with CO2. Even without CO2, it's just so much more beautiful than the normal Cabamba caroliniatus and stuff. So if you were to see this tank, the new one, the plan, I'll show you some sketches in a minute, but the plan is going to be to put an island in the center. So if you could see the size of this whole table, there's going to be an island of plants and stuff almost as big as this tank is in the center right now. And then I was talking to Alan quite a bit about the lighting. Now, I do kind of want to do, if I had all the money in the world, I think I would do, I do twin stars, but I'm not going to be able to get 36-inch twin stars, 2 of them. That's just absurd amount of money. It'd be like $1,000 or something. But he has some good ideas on some pendant lights, and if I decide on those for sure, I will definitely let y'all know what the details were on that. So yeah, Preston John, I'm sending some fish up to Corey at Co-op on Wednesday. Let me know if I'm ready for a puffer. Ooh, I will have to talk to you about that. Because when I move everyone around, I'm going to be taking the angels and the cribs out of this tank over here and a bunch of the tetras. So we'll talk about the stocking in just a moment of the new tank. But I want to show you one thing. S. Bronson, I didn't want to skip over everyone. Hey, do you know what the nitrate levels in your tank? I have a tank with 20 parts per million. Most of my other tanks are at 0. If you can keep your tanks at 0, great. This one will stay at 0 sometimes, but right now there's quite a few babies that have been born. And then there's also the plecos, and plecos poo a lot. These ones poo less than ancestris, these placata, but they still, these are kind of meat-eating scavengers rather than algae eaters. And then the panda loaches, and then the multi-bart border loach also eats quite a bit. So that puts out quite a bit of ammonia, as well as when you get fine leaf plants, like since the CO2 is not running, you can see the Rotala wallachia looks really sick and spindly. You really need that CO2 to keep it healthy and lush. I'm really impressed at myself for keeping some of it as nice as it is. It's notorious for just dying, and then it sheds its needles. Same with the Cabamba of all sorts. It'll shed its needles, and then you've got all these needles in the thing, and it can cause a lot of ammonia spikes and things like that. But hopefully you've got enough biofilter. You can see how much slime there is up there. And actually my panda loaches have been actually feeding up out of water up on this lip. So I've let it grow out. I haven't cleaned it because I noticed they like that. And so do my pandagaras, these guys. And they seem to actually prefer it over any food I toss in. So that's a little experiment to see if I stopped feeding them a couple weeks ago, and I think they get, maybe it's like bacteria, maybe they're into like kombucha sort of thing, like maybe it's a fungal sort of brew. No, I don't know, but they like eating stuff off the surface of slimy rocks and the glass. So, I mean, have at it, kids. But yeah, right now this tank has nitrates. Probably 20 to 30 is where it will hover sometimes. But when I really want to get the plants going, I do more water changes. I haven't honestly been doing water changes on this since I got back from my last trip to the Midwest. So that's been 3 weeks, I guess. I haven't done a water change on this. I've just topped it off with water once. And then obviously you can see where the watermark is. It's evaporated again in the last week in here because we've got the heat on again now that winter is coming. I'll show you one more thing. Hopefully the kitchen's not too big of a mess. My wife does such cute decorating for the holidays. But check this out. You were asking about aquatic versus terrestrial, like house plants and things. So here's Wandering Jew living straight out of water. I don't know the Latin name on those offhand. I'm sorry. I've just always called them that. I'm Jewish, so I never bothered. I'm just like, if someone's got a problem with that name, I'm like, hey, you're making fun of my people. And then Lucky Bamboo. And then here, look at this monster. So this guy, this has always been an experiment tank. No filtration, no feeding, just natural morning light. So it doesn't get a ton of light, but it gets a little bit of this green water effect. And we still have shrimp growing in here. We have mosses that have colonized up the rock in the last, it's been almost, it'll be in January a year. And then we have Blue Dream shrimp as well as Caridina malawa shrimp in there, or malawa. But this thing's probably 4 feet tall, maybe 3.5 feet tall. But yeah, it is really tall. It's from my waist to my head, definitely. Yeah, so probably 3.5 feet. Um, and it's just going for the sun, so it would easily be a happy house plant. And it's not humid in here. It is a little more humid against the window, but it's doing it for the light. And there's some yellowing. I mean, I haven't been putting ferts in here. There is aqua soil in here, ADA Amazonia, but nothing crazy. And then you can see the hygrophila is also here, but none of the other ones have taken off, like this one, like the Rosaverg. Let's see here. So yeah, don't worry about nitrates though. Really, I've had nitrates up to like 100. And if your fish are gradually getting there, even you're not introducing any new fish, you can bring that down in time. Like some people will disagree with me, but I've seen like people's goldfish bowls when I'm helping them out with like off the charts levels of as long as they're not having ammonia and nitrites. I've seen nitrates really high, especially like guppies, goldfish, mollies, platies, that kind of thing. The ones you see at Petco basically and PetSmart. But yeah, I've seen those really high. There's another Wandering Jew down there. But yeah, and I would say that yes, you want your nitrates lower, but unless you're trying to do something like bloom Anubias or get Rotala wallachia to do something, or a sword plant. There's various plants that you try to kind of coax into doing things, and you hit them with highlight for long cycles in the day after shorter cycles in the day, and low nitrates with high iron can spark things. Other plants, it's the opposite. They want 40 parts per million nitrates, no iron. So there's just different things that different people do. I really love these cribs and the way they've gotten along with the angels. That being said, it's not like an ideal combo. I don't know if they're a match made in heaven. So in the new tank, my plan is to actually put some I'm thinking either Apistos or Bolivian gold and golden white rams, like a pair of them, and just letting them, if they colony breed, they colony breed. And then also I want to move over as the main attraction, I suppose. I want to move over my blue smoky angel here with the rusty orange slash red head. And then he's got beautiful blue fins and blue all over in here now, blue all over in here. And so I think I might get some Turkish greens from Aquatic Arts. And so that brings me, if you've made it to the halfway point, folks, let me tell you a story. Let me tell you about the birds and the bees and the flowers and the trees. Let me put my tripod up and drink Dr. Pepper, and I'll tell you the story about a lovely lady who had really, really, really messy hair. So basically, Aquatic Arts has said, Alex, you know what? We want to do another promo. Like, your fans seem to like it, your viewers. Some of you are fans, some of you are viewers. I can understand the difference. And either way, thank you for being here. You know who you are. Alan Fan. No, I just like to shout out people that do super chats or help out with groups or participate on the Facebook. So thank you for those of you who do those things. For those of you who do all the things that help out. Let's see here. Anyone have any clue where I can get some Shodentai puffers in Canada? I don't know. Let's see. I don't see it hurting. Sorry, guys. I'm just catching up on the feed. Yeah, so let me get back to, let's talk stocking this new 90p. And also, I'll hold this up just to kind of give you some ideas of some sketches that we had talked about in the past. So this was my favorite, this broken bridge look. And so I think I'm still going to stick with, so it looks like an arch and then there's a piece or crumbled pieces that fell out. I think I'm going to do that, but make it smaller and more of like a rock feature in the center. And then have, so imagine this rock feature spanning as a whole here. And then these plants kind of framing it. Maybe I won't have to do any sticks or anything. And then from above, it would look like this. So you'd have the broken arch piece here, some random Iwagumi stones that I will do in the traditional Iwagumi layout. And then I'm thinking sand all the way around because I just haven't done that. It could be interesting. I was also thinking of carpeting for a while and doing like Glosso or Monte Carlo. I was thinking of doing Iwagumi, but eventually all that stuff gets a lot of algae and all those sort of things. And so I kind of like the overgrown tank, but I want to keep the stone structure visual or in your visual field rather than getting so overgrown in the past. So now that you kind of see what I'm thinking of, I hope. So it's kind of going to be the bridge in the center and then some tall stones, like one really tall one that may even crest the water like a pillar. And then what I want to do at the base of all of that is, so it's going to build into a bit of a mound. And under the mound, I think I'm going to take PVC pipe and make shafts into little extra boxes that I'll thread onto the PVC. And I'll do a video about making these. I might do it after the fact, after I get the hardscape in, and basically bury those so they're sloping. So if this is the mound, they're sloping out, and underneath that mound where the plant roots are growing into and around, these would be little caves for plecos and the apistos, or anybody else who wants to hide. And that way the apistos and angels could kind of get along, or rams if I do the Bolivian or the Bolivian rams and then blue German rams. I mean, I don't know. I like the white and gold ones right now for some reason. They're just kind of pretty. I think they'd go well with the metallic, like green gunmetal, like blues and seafoam green metal of the angelfish I'm looking at. I also thought about doing discus, but they need to be so warm, and it's just a whole thing that I'm not ready for. I think I'd want an even bigger tank to do that with the top, with the lid, definitely. But so then those would be the main attractions, would be the angelfish, then we'd have a pair or maybe even like a trio or four. I don't know. Depends. We'll have to see. I'll probably load these in like different weeks. And while I'm getting it acclimated, I'll probably add the little fish first because you guys know I definitely like my nano fish, and so Michael Keith, thank you so much. $1.99 super chat. I really appreciate that, buddy. Every bit for sure helps. I appreciate it because right now I've been doing illustrations and fish illustrations, things like that, commission work, graphic design. I've been trying to drum up more of that just for rent, for medical bills. I had the abscess tooth, and so I really have had to divert some money that I was going to spend $1,000 or whatever getting lights, table, substrate, because I want to use probably ADA, Fluval, some combination of those. I do like the ADA, even though it does have more ammonia, so it takes longer to cycle. I think it's worth it in the long term, especially since this tank's going to be a focal point tank upstairs, and we'll be moving the other little one. But it'll take a bit. This isn't going to be a quick project, and that's okay. Like, I want this to be a project. Of course, I'll have the other tanks, and I want this to be a project that kind of takes me into winter, into the holidays, and then is nice and cozy by the dead of winter in Seattle, which is just gloomy and dark. But yeah, so let's see. How many hours are your lights on? Every tank is different, Bears, but usually somewhere between 6 with the really intense light if I'm not doing ferts or anything like that. But if I'm doing fertilizer, CO2, and water changes heavily, I'll crank that all the way up to 12, 14 hours if I want to get something to flower like a Nubius. But I usually, it's somewhere between 8 and 10 hours of light. And now that winter's coming, there'll be less algae in my case because a lot of the ambient light in your room, whether you know it or not, is enough to grow algae. So just because your lights aren't on till 1 in the afternoon or something, algae can grow with way less light than your plants can in most cases. So I like the cherry Dr. Pepper too. All right, so we got the main features in there, and while I'm talking about substrates and all this stuff, so the kind of cool announcement is that Aquatic Arts, who I clearly work with, I got the angelfish. I got from the wet spot down in Portland is where I got the cribs in this tank here. Both strains, they're a mix between Lacunja Upper Falls and then also Pulcher, which is just a large common crib. So now I've got these big, colorful, and I got them spawning, and I'd never seen it, but the male turned totally pink, the hybrid of the two, and he's this big crib, like 4.5, 5 inches long. So I got some pictures, maybe I'll put them on Facebook. It just looks really cool. And I'm getting hot. Sorry, guys. Let me derobe here. So Aquatic Arts said, we'd be happy to sponsor this new tank you're doing in its inhabitants and some of the plants and stuff. So tissue cultures and plants. And then what they were discussing, or I was discussing, is I said, why don't we do a thing where you guys hook me up with, so if you give me 3 angelfish that are $20 a pop, we do a $60 gift card for my channel. If you guys give me Phoenix Rasboras and I get 20 of them, at $6 a piece, $120 gift card for people watching. So kind of like I get it, you get it kind of thing. And then people who are watching the series of me putting together this tank will be entered. And then those people who buy anything from Aquatic Arts as per normal, even when you're buying stuff when it's not on sale, I've taken to keeping track, and I've just given out money to people secretly. Word has probably gotten around on that a bit, but it's kind of my secret Santa. Like, here you go. Uh, and I don't do a big announcement, but I give away, oh, here's a free shipping. Here's $40, whatever. And then we do the biannual. That's not the right word. Well, it's not every 2 years, twice a year. Um, so in July we did the $1,100 worth of stuff giveaway. Hopefully this Christmas it'll be like $1,500 worth of stuff. What determines how much we're giving away is how much people on the channel are purchasing, checking out at Aquatic Arts, and they have some really cool stuff right now. Alan was pointing out to me and just tempting me, Alan, about they have some large autosynclists, the giant ones that are like, oh, they're so cool. And they have the orange autosynclist, whose Latin name is Robocop. No joke. It's spelled just like Robocop the movie. Don't know who gave it the Latin name, but it's a cool Latin name. I'll have to look into the origins of that one. Maybe it's some like might have been named in the 80s by some like you know John Hughes fan or whatever. It's probably not a John Hughes movie. Probably the opposite. But in any case, yeah. Let's see here. Lots of Malua shrimp and lots of the gold nebula shrimp. That basically Aquatic Arts is getting a hold of some shrimp from Sulawesi, Indonesia, as well as some other places. And they're literally the only people importing some of the shrimp and for sure a bunch of the crayfish they have. So there's that, as well as some other new fish that they're going to get. I've been talking, and this brings me to my next stocking idea for the tank about some wood cats. So the Tatia mosaica, my favorite little wood cat that looks like the orcas. Some people call them ninja wood cats. I had some, they passed away. They like really low acid, or I should say very acidic, low pH, high acid in their water, like black water is what they'll reproduce in. They reproduce at like 4.0. And so that being said, I don't want to necessarily do a black water tank with this new tank by any means, but with the angelfish, I'm also going to do a school of cories, little cories of some sort. Maybe I'll do habrosis because I'm also thinking of doing a school. Well, I'll just show you what I'm thinking. And if you guys have better ideas, other ideas, feel free to comment after the video's over about what you think. But basically, we'd have angelfish as maybe 3 to 5 these big, ones the size of my hand almost, from his whiskers to his fin. Those have another name that I don't know. Is it onodontons, pectoral fins, whatever. But he, when stretched out fully, is like, I don't know, 7 inches or something. But no live bears in this tank. I think I'm gonna keep it kind of a biotope tank, mostly. I have a bunch of these stunted plecos that would be kind of fun to use. I don't know why they're a year old and they just never grew, but they look healthy. And so I'm thinking about tossing some of them in and then just redoing who's in here. Maybe I'll keep the cribs in here, and then we'll have the apistos, the angelfish, and then I'm thinking, oh, here's a spawning female right here. But then I'm thinking about doing a school of ember tetras, so like 12 of them, and I'll steal from this tank, obviously, along with these reed tetras, which I know are very understated and they're cheap. They're like $1.99 a piece, but they're really they school really well together. I think rummy nose tetras are the only ones that I watch schooling better. See, they school really well. So I want to do like 15 to 30, actually probably 30 total combo in of reed tetras and ember tetras intermix because they'll school together. They're about the same size. They don't make a ton of waste, especially if you don't overfeed them. And they just bring a nice flash of color. And then for a mid-sized fish, I was thinking about 10 of the kitty tetras or orange-eyed lemon tetras. And I know you guys are going to say, oh, this tank's going to get overstocked. Yeah, it will, because that's what I do. I put a ton of plants in a tank and then I overstock it. What's up, JH? How you doing, Joseph? I hope you are doing well. You're still in New Jersey. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I got stuck in New Jersey once. It was a bad thing. I was stuck there the second season. Story time. The second season of the ever popular, God knows why, Jersey Shore show was being filmed, and we had some hippie friends when we were going on this road trip that lived literally 5 blocks from where that was filmed, and they lived in a house off the beach. But it was a quick walk to the beach, and and our Forester Subaru Forester broke down. Three of us guys traveling the country for months, and the thing broke down. I think ended up being that time the distributor cap, and then the heater core overheated and did some damage to both the firewall panel. And since here's the best part of the story, we had a friend who started the journey with us. So we started in Washington, went to San Diego after going through Yosemite, the Redwoods, Death Valley, Grand Canyon, down through White Sands Missile Range and Carlsbad Cavern, all the way to New Orleans, all through Texas, East Texas. We did alligator wrestling. We did noodling in Oklahoma and Louisiana, up by Shreveport. And then we get to New Orleans, and our friend whose car it was. Wait, correction. His mother's car it was. Because none of us had cars we thought could last a 4 or 5 month road trip. So this crazy lady who's like, "You only live once, kids." I mean, awesome lady. Let us have her car. And it was not like new. It was like maybe 8 or 9 years old. But she let us have a Subaru with like 50,000 miles on it. And we put another like 20,000 miles on it. But he got homesick and he left in New Orleans. So we kept driving and we went all the way down to Key West, and then we went up through the Okefenokee and all over, back up into Appalachia and Tennessee, Kentucky, then through back down kind of in a loop, back to the Outer Banks, and then back inland again, like zigzagging up Greensboro, Spartanburg, Asheville. We had a bunch of friends in Baltimore, DC. We spent a week in DC. So it was a really epic road trip. Got to see a ton of the country. Like, I think we saw 43 states in that trip alone. Um, but the car broke down first in Baltimore, in the crappiest part of town it could have. Our friends were in DC were like, just don't stop in Baltimore. Like, if you're not on the freeway, don't stop. And we're on the freeway, it's 100 degrees out, and the car just, and so we're like, is it the radio? What is it? Like, nobody, we're not super smart car people. Not new cars, anyways. I used to have an old Mustang. I knew how to work on it. I mean, I know the basics, but we didn't have a repair kit. We didn't have much money. That's a story for another time. But I got stuck in New Jersey, is the long story short. So we got stuck for one night, and we had a gang in the neighborhood protecting our car, and I can probably say this now, that we traded some pot for to help us out, that worked at the Jiffy Lube. First, he decided to pull a gun on us and tell us how white guys get killed in his neighborhood. And he thought it was really funny that we all like peed ourselves when he was like, "Give me all your money." And then he just like starts laughing immediately while we're like crying and like, "Take everything." And then he's like, "No, I'm just playing. I'll help you guys out." And he ended up being a very nice, young, professional gentleman. But yeah, so in New Jersey, a little bit up the road from Baltimore, the car freaking overheats and dies again. And this time it like really had problems. So we were there for a week and a half, the first week of the second season of Jersey Shore. So everybody, Jersey Shore has gone like viral or whatever. It's got really popular, like 2008 or whatever it was. And we're stuck with every wannabe, Snooki or the situation, or okay, I guess that's all I know from the show. But I remember they were a big deal, and all the like Paris Hilton and like that demographic, like young rich party people, I guess. Uh, and we were stuck as these hippies with long hair and beards and tie dye and tattoos all over there, and it sucked. Um, I don't know, got really derailed there, but I'm glad you're having a good time, Joseph. I am. I'm here for 2 more nights. We also have a 10-gallon Blackwater set up, 10-gallon planted cobalt cube with 50 gold bees. Oh, nice. Wow, 50 gold bees. That would be nice to see. I would like to do another one of those. I must confess that I didn't do so hot with the crystal shrimp. Like, there's still some, but out of the 20 I got, most of them perished in the flood. The flood being water in their tank. Yeah, they just got stressed and they like were having problems with some sort of sickness that they got in my tank, where they would just lose their color, and then yeah, they it's not like they didn't have enough whatever their molting and stuff. Um, New England Endler, act crazy and most people won't mess with you. You know, I learned that if you my mom just went to Sedona and brought me back this crystal thing. Uh, no offense if you believe in crystal power, I don't, but I'm a geology freak. So cool citrine and rhodochrosite and rose quartz and marble and jade in here. But she's like, I got you this at the Vortex. And I was like, thanks, Mom. That was sweet of her. But yeah, so speaking of Hardscape, Aquatic Arts also now is selling more Hardscape, more food. They're doing a bunch more stuff. They've been growing thanks to you guys. So I put the information in the link below. If you want shrimp, I've got discount codes for both Flip Aquatics, who does pretty much exclusive. Well, I guess he does some nano fish and stuff like that, but mostly shrimp is his deal. And he's kind of moved a lot towards Caradina, King Kong, stuff like that. And then I've also got links to Han Aquatic, but really Aquatic Arts is who I would steer you towards for like the Neocaradinas, for the stuff that is easy to care for, easier to care for the ones that you can just set it and forget it. The ones that I just made the video that were in 35-degree water that also got up to 90 some degrees, 92 degrees or whatever in the summer. If you think about it, in the wild, these creatures, if you've ever been in it's been 100 degrees outside and you're in a lake, if you swim down 10 feet, it gets cold quick in a lot of lakes, big lakes or rivers, especially if they're getting fed from mountain streams and stuff like that. And so a lot of these fish that we think of as like, it needs to be 76, that's a good general rule, but if they're in good health and happy, oxygenated water and it's not filthy, they can really live in parameters that you would not expect. And the shrimp being a case of that. The Neocaradinas can be so bulletproof. Just take your time. Everybody overthinks it on them. The Caradinas, I understand, they're like crystal shrimp and bee shrimp. You do need to be careful. I would use RO water or, distilled water. I would add water, remineralize your water, give them special food. Literally, I didn't feed the ones outside. I put a drop of fish food in at the beginning so that plankton, algae, and little copepods or whatever would be drawn to that, and little water bears and I don't know what else, nematodes and things like that. And that was plenty. The algae fed the shrimp from April until just now outside. Now, that being said, if you have a big colony, you want to feed them more. If you're inside, you can really get a lot more reproduction and stuff. The shrimp outside didn't really reproduce. I think one was buried and had some babies in the July season, but a lot of them just went MIA, or I think they didn't molt correctly, like they didn't have the minerals in the water. But point being, a lot of these things will survive when you push the limits. It's just they may not thrive. And it's best to make our pets thrive if we can, right? You had a bad experience with aquatic arts, Danny? I bet you anything, if you message them about it, they will make it right. Because I've had them redeem, like I had a pleco that died after I got it, and it gave another pleco. It hurt another pleco I had, which wasn't their problem that it attacked the pleco. It just happened to wound and kill another pleco I had, and I was like, "Yeah, your fish died, and it killed this other fish," and I think it died in the scuffle. So I was just kind of letting them know as friends. Well, they sent me. This was before I had to deal with them with the channel of doing these promos. They sent me two adult plecos instead of young ones, and they're like, "We're so sorry." And I've just heard tons of stories of that. I know a lot of people don't like the shipping costs, but um, I would suggest just wait until you want more than $50 worth of fish and shrimp. And then, they're guaranteed live arrival, guarantee, quarantine for up to 90 days. They quarantine stuff a long time, especially the shrimp now. They had one case of Elabiopsidae. They killed all the shrimp they had after that. And that's really crazy. No matter what anyone says, a lot of places would just get rid of that one batch, but they literally ate the cost for thousands and thousands of dollars. So, okay, let's see. They sent me 12 males and one female in addition. One shrimp came with a blackish head. I believe it was some kind of disease. The shrimp died. Two more shrimp seemed very weak on arrival and died within a week. I could see, that's yeah, if you got 12 males, are you sure about that? I'd be hard pressed to catch 12 males like in a scoop, in a few scoops even. What kind of shrimp were they? If they were Neocaridina, I mean, you can tell the males and females apart really easy. But yeah, as other people are saying on here, I love Aquatic Arts. I always order from them. They're packaging so well. They do good shipping, good tracking. They're the best. So I mean, everyone, you're maybe the second person I've heard have a problem, and I'm sorry to hear that. But talk to Preston. He will make it right. I bet. Um, and I mean, they've given away so much. They do charity in the community. They're buying their fish and some of their shrimp and stuff, all their cories and all that kind of stuff. They're buying in the Midwest locally as much as they can from breeders for credit and things or for cash, which is unheard of for a distributor these days. I mean, people just don't do that. They buy from overseas. Um, they were yellow golden backed neocaridinas. They sent me 12 males. I emailed them and they said it's luck of the net. Um, wow. I've never heard them respond like that. I mean, I guess it is luck of the net. If you got 12, that's just insane, though. I feel like if you document that, like take the pictures of all 12 and like email me. We'll talk. Because their customer service is usually incredible. So if you had a different experience, we should chat because, I put myself out there on the line and put the channel out there when I say that I love them. They're great. And most people, as you can see, are having great experiences. I mean, them in the wet spot are where I go to get rare fish, nano fish, neocaridina, CPOs, all sorts of little mini crayfish you've never seen before, stuff out of the deep jungles. I really love them for all those things. All right, guys. So I was telling you, let's finish up the breeding, get onto another subject here because I do like them, and we'll figure it out. Danny, if you email me, we'll maybe you and I can figure it out. Maybe I can make it right. Maybe I trust them so much that I think this is a one-off, and maybe I'll be even able to replace it if I've got the shrimp. If you got the pictures to show me of what they look like and stuff, yeah, that's a bummer. The other thing is they usually send out younger shrimp, so if you're positive they were all males, that's weird. Usually they have more females than males. because usually that's how they get sold to them from overseas, because the females have better color, so they tend to grab the females, and they're bigger, so they're easier to catch, and they sell them as juveniles to the U.S. Now they do buy locally sourced, and they do breed their own. They started as a red cherry shrimp, specifically like 12 years ago, breeding company. But in any case, moving on. Uh, yeah, Kim says you need to pay more for sexing your shrimps. Well, yeah, some places, it's luck of the draw, but 11 out of 12, that's kind of crazy. That's like the probability of that has to be insane, like nuts. um, if you had just the average package you received from someone, unless they got shorted by their distributor who consciously took all the bright females and then gave them the cruddy stuff. But in that case, usually they wouldn't put it up for sale. That's what I've seen them do. I've seen them give back, give away so much because it wasn't up to the really high standards that they have. Any case, so we got, let's talk again about, we'll finish this off and then I gotta go. Thank you again for the super chatters. For those of you who are on Patreon, that will go to, am I going to do lights like this style that I hang from the ceiling, or am I going to do a bar light? I really do like Fluval. I love Twin Star, but I don't think I can't break the bank for a bar of Twin Star high powered lights, but it would look amazing. But with that island, the idea of doing an island of stuff with a, imagine one piece of stone here, another piece here, and then some spires, and then all around it, at the base, we're gonna have barclay, longifolia, Logonandra boldi, not quite as big as this, but colorful pink. It'll have the CO2 that'll make it really colorful. And then we'll do a Nubius up on the rocks, maybe a couple twisted pieces of manzanita or something. And then either kitty tetras, this guy here, the yellow guy who's turned sideways, with those reed tetras, they kind of complement each other. The embers, the kitties, and the reeds, you see them all. So them, the angels, and then some Habrosus corridors, or maybe I'll do something really interesting like Venezuelan cories with the high orange saddle. But so imagine them all skirting around if this was all sand, and then you got the tower of vegetation here with the little caves hidden. And then I'm going to bring in the leopard frog plecos into that tank, definitely. And yeah, so keep a lookout for the sales and stuff we're doing, though, with Aquatic Arts as I get this stuff. Now, for stone, I haven't decided. I do have a bunch of left over of this blue jadeite and quartz and basalt from the Olympic Mountains, or Cascade Mountains, sorry. It is just a beautiful bluish gray. It has nice quality. I can go up and get more. The mountains are freaking made out of it. It ages well. It gets some algae on it, but it still kind of keeps its character. It kind of gets a nice green character to it when it's exposed to light for 2 years. You see there, but you can really see the creases and ridges on it. So I may just go with that stone and try to find spires of it and stuff like that. I was offered Dragonstone. This is more of like a wonder stone. This stuff here. I was offered Siriu stone, which is pretty close to this stuff, more banding. And then I am thinking I may do Siriu, or I might do elephant skin or elephant stone, because that has just this cool texture. But I just don't know if I'll have enough pieces that jut out. I don't think I want to do Oko or Dragonstone. By the way, check out these. These were from Aquatic Arts too a year ago now. These short-nosed algae-eating shrimp. They're so big, and she's got a saddle that's getting ready. They're so big compared to the Neocarad, or to the Caridina Gold Nebula. So yeah, but And then, you know, it's so tempting to do another tank with all tin Winnie Danios and like 100 of these guys of the Phoenix Rasboras, who I love from Aquatic Arts. They're one of my favorites. But so I'm thinking that I'm thinking maybe three Tatia Mosaica Ninja Woodcats, and then maybe three of the honeycomb woodcats that have this kind of giraffe pattern on them. And then that would be it. Maybe an autosynclus or a pandagar, which wouldn't be native to the area. So maybe I'll switch it up with something that makes more. Well, autosynclus would be native to Amazon. And then obviously I want shrimp, but with the angels, that's just a dumb idea. It's just asking for trouble. And then I'll have some of these wispy plants, some of these from the Pontanal down in South America. Oh, he's hiding right in plain sight. So we'll have these guys growing up also in that tank, I think. And I think that would be a good stocking idea. And we'll have hints of pink and purple, but I'd like to have more yellow as the highlight. We had this tank, if you remember, where everything was pink and purple when it was hit with CO2 lights and ferts. And now you can see what it looks like when you're not doing that and doing water changes and fertilizers and all this work to keep it up. You sacrifice that, but you end up with shrimp trees. Look at all these shrimps just chilling all over the place. And I had coolie loaches in here, and it turns out they were eating probably, I don't know, 10 shrimp a day or something. I can't quantify it for sure. But now that I got rid of the coolie loaches, I moved them to a tank downstairs. Literally, there's so many shrimps in here that they just take up every surface. The Malua and the Caridina Gold Nebula from Aquatic Arts, they just take over everything, which is fine. They're the same ones that are in the bowl over here that never gets fed. It gets topped off with tap water. There are a few Neocaridina Blue Dreams from Lucas Bretts in here too, but I mean, they've had babies in here. And there's no filtration. This was just let's see what happened. There's a baby one. Let's see here. They're kind of hard to see sometimes in this tank. It's tank, bowl, whatever. The moss is really overgrown. And there's a nearite snail in here. They've got some really cool nearite snails at Aquatic Arts right now too. The red and gold Filipino ones. This is literally what I do to water change or top off. Don't even check the temperature, and they've been living like that for a year now. So it's crazy what they can do. That's Caridina, so that proves that Malua and the gold nebula, if you have a low TDS water, that may just take care of itself. Last thing I wanted to show you guys is downstairs. Hey, look at our little festive friend here. Last thing I wanted to show you guys, and we got bats. My wife's the best. She makes the holidays fun, and I'm kind of a Grinch, so I appreciate my wife decorating everything. It makes it pretty adorable. So again, we talked at the beginning of this episode about immersed plants, red root floaters. They will grow on the ground. They'll grow in this like chain pattern, and then they will flower too. The Ludwigia that's coming up, the Rotala that's coming up, these things will crest the water. The do I have any right now? The Bacopa, yeah, Bacopa. This is saffron Bacopa. It's cresting the water. It does great outside of water or immersed. This tank is the one that I let go feral, as I told you. No care to it really. Lots of funky plants in here, but just seeing what does what, how things go. And I will get to that. It is the half beak tank, and I keep fighting the duckweed battle. I gotta talk to Lucas Bretts about the magic bullet to get rid of that. This tank's getting low again. What I'm doing, if you guys haven't seen my other videos on getting cories to breed, in here we've got all the leopard endlers, rainbow leopard endlers. We've also got the plecos. These are ancestors, green dragon, longfin, fancy ancestors. We've got them in their pots and caves. Sponge filter is all. And same deal up here with the gold longfin ancestors, the lemon ones, and some of the random green ones. Where are they? And look at this corkscrew valve. This is a red metallic corkscrew valve that Lucas Bretz also gave me. This is normal Bacopa, not the saffron. But look at this. When it grows long, it gets red. It looks really cool. Jay Opie, I think there is a lot that we think we know about Neos that are not 100% true. I've had a Neo 100% RO water snuck in on some driftwood, still alive and kicking it. Yeah, I agree. Neocaradinas and certain caradinas even can really. There's some ghost shrimp in here that just are troopers. They're never gonna die, you know. Same with white cloud minnows, the troopers. Like, and this, I mean, this is a warm tank. I don't know where the plecos are. They're hiding somewhere, maybe probably in their cave. But the Val has taken over, even with mixed gravel and sand, and all my like pink panther crypts and my Nuri watermelon skin crypt and the just all the crypts are getting out competed in this horn war. I might as well get rid of this horn war. It's just I like to have it because when I pull shrimp out to sell to people and stuff, then it's ready. Also, I keep filters just floating in case I need to start a new tank or one crashes. Then up here we have the other shrimp tank, the Babalti and Sakuras, and they're doing good. They kind of ebb and flow. This tank, I sold a good amount of them, and then I had a die off. Like they got stressed that I sold their brethren, and now, I don't know. The Babaltis I think I'll keep, but I might downgrade them size wise in a different tank. They kind of hit an apex. Like there were just tons of them, and then they've just kind of stopped having babies lately. And I've been keeping this tank at 10 gallons or 15 gallons anyways. Like that's just how it chills. But what I was going to say, let me get back to it. On this tank, and this is Crypt undulata right here, growing just from Petco. It's a tissue culture. Hornwort for the nitrates, duckweed because I hate my life. I don't know why. But basically what you do is you let a tank evaporate. You turn the heater up a bit and you make the water stagnant. So no hang off the back running, but do keep water running through there on another tank, or just keep the biomedia wet so that the bacteria is healthy. Then I'm just doing a sponge filter that barely agitates the water. What I'll do in a few days is I will put in the missing 5 to 7 gallons of water at a much colder temperature. That will spark my my plecos, as well as there's Corydoras in here. Hold on. There's Trilineatus Corydoras in here. And everyone calls them, everybody calls these ones the Julii Corydoras, and that's not what they are. So, yeah. I don't know where the heck they are. Are they hiding under here? Hello? Oh, there's one. There they are. So these are the Trilineatus. If they have a face that looks like a little maze, looks like a puzzle maze on their face, Trilineatus. Julii have spots, not the crazy stripes. They have spots on their face. I like these guys more. Like Aquarium Co-op, lots of great reputable stores sell these as Juliis, and then they'll have true Juliis, just because everybody has gotten used to calling these Juliis. These are Trilineatus. I like Trilineatus. Oh, it looks like his fin is missing, his dorsal, but it's just a black spot, if you guys can see that. Any case, and there's Blue Dream Shrimp Culls in here, doing their thing. Down here, Panda Loaches and my high quality Blue Dreams. And then we have another coal/sick tank for whoever. But yeah, so that's what's going on down here. lots of val to choose from if I did want to put that in the new tank. It just takes over so quickly. Might do ghost shrimp or maybe, maybe if I put enough into it, the underbrush could be thick enough in the new tank to actually, with the rate that these shrimp multiply at, they might be able to be in here. So I don't know. I'm not sold on doing kitty tetras as the other accent. I would love to do these Phoenix rasboras. Think the angelfish would eat them. I could do CPDs, but then I'm ruining the whole biotope ecosystem type vibe. So I don't know. Let me know what you think. I could do a blue sort of tetra or Cochus tetra, but I like the orange and red little fish idea. Orange, red, and silver and yellow. I could do all male endlers, I suppose, of the yellow kind, but they hang out at the top. I feel like it doesn't look as refined. And then, yeah, so I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Whoa, I've not seen this Endler before. Or guppy? Endler. It's half guppy, half Endler. It's got a blue dream. Oh, a blue Hawaiian Moscow. And then wild type K-class Endler hybrid. There was only one female that was Hawaiian blue Moscow in here from Bentley Pascoe, whatever. Sorry, Bentley, if I butchered your name. You guys know who Bentley is. But then there's the angelfish, Sergey. Dun dun dun. All right, guys. Duckweed doesn't like surface movement. Yeah, this tank has a ton of surface movement, and it keeps the duckweed at bay. Some of the tanks, like that one downstairs that's completely covered, the duckweed just is flourishing, and I don't know why. Honestly, the nitrates are low. Whatever. Is that external heat control? Yes. Only thing I did different since I had about 2 years ago, I used some ICMED. That's when the die-off started. All right. GRB Aquatics. Everyone hit that like button. Yeah, guys, there's 40-some people watching. Can you hit the like button, please? Let me pander to you. I love you guys. What's the guy gotta do? I also thought about not just doing the leopard frog plecos or zebra plecos or L333s. 333s. Yeah, 3 3s. L cubed. But I also thought about doing the lemon and citrus. This guy's just so washed out because of the bright light, but he is a bright banana yellow. I don't know. Angels, my wife likes them. She also loves gouramis. So there is a small fraction of a chance that while this tank is getting cycled up, I could do a 180 and end up with powder blue gouramis, honey gouramis, the Phoenix rasboras, tin Winnie Danios, CPDs, erythromicrons, and shrimp in the big tank. The gouramis would eat the shrimp, but they're not as vicious as the angelfish at eating shrimp. All right, what's my favorite fish? That's a hard one, but I really love panda loaches. I love their socializing. I love that they come up to my hand and eat. I like that they're kind of easy to kill in that it's been kind of a learning process and kind of magical, learning like what makes them happy and healthy. So I like them. I also like the Tatia mosaica woodcat, also another one that's hard to keep, but and you don't see it a lot. So that makes it less fun. Overall, with the years of hours and stuff into fish keeping, I would have to say that endlers and live bears are probably my favorite, just in that the versatility, the amount that I've bred, all that kind of stuff. They've just been really fun. And then also I'd put on the list in the top 5 cribs. I love cribs. I love how they take care of their babies. They're not as high maintenance as most cichlids. They make little dens and little areas to hang out in, little circles and mounds. So I'm excited to have the sand and the apistos and that kind of stuff. or rams, whatever it ends up being, because I think it'll be really fun to watch them make themselves at home. Not erythromycin, erythromicrons, which is the emerald dwarf danio. But, or emerald dwarf rasbora, it's not a rasbora though. Fried walleye. All right, I'm with you there. I go to Priest Lake, Idaho. I've been to Minnesota, Wisconsin, North Dakota, done some walleye fishing. We've got a big orange, more yellow, more orange than yellow, and then bright yellow of the Ancestris from Aquatic Arts. Also got these this big. These are the babies that the ones that died in battle actually had, and so that's like 2 years ago now, I think, since that one was born. And that right after that's when I started working with Aquatic Arts. All right, guys. Well, I hope you have a wonderful evening. Sorry that I've been a bit MIA and delayed, but hopefully this will be fun. Get this stuff going soon. The Broken Arch or the Arch, and then the island style Iwagumi, which means, you know, rocks coming out, but with the center focus here. And the sky view being like that with sand around it. I love watching what fish do in the sand, like where they're going and all that sort of stuff. So, all right, guys, thank you for joining. Thank you so much for the super chats. If you guys are looking for merchandise for goldfish shirts and steampunk, like wind up gears, illustrations of fish, and then realistic illustrations, there's a bunch of shirts on Teespring of my illustrated art. I'm gonna put some that are just steampunk. Most of them right now are double-sided. They're the high-grade quality shirts and things like that, like the extra thread count and conflict-free, non-sweatshop, whatever. Like they have the things, the extra green stuff, the humanitarianly made stuff. And I assumed that people watching my channel would rather pay the extra, you know, have it be $25 for a shirt rather than 20, and have it made ethically as well as more comfortably, like fitted, and the women's shirts are fitted to women rather than just like they're not trash bags. All right, guys. Well, just continue to rest up. I will talk to you all again soon. More history and science videos coming out soon. I'm foaming at the mouth. Feel free to drop me a line if you have any questions. Hit that like button for me one more time. And if you want to support this channel and the new tanks, we'll be getting into the season where everybody's cooped up inside. Seattle has 10 hours of light a day, and it's all through filtered clouds for months. So we're going to be getting into aquarium season. All right, guys, I will talk to you later. Take care of yourselves, your critters, your fish, the people around you, and it'll all come back to you in ways that you don't even know. But I really mean that. I was feeling down for a while, feeling a bit under the weather and bummed mentally, emotionally. And watching nature unfold. You set up the dominoes and watch nature knock them down in its own pattern. That sounds destructive. Maybe you put the paints out and nature paints it. Whatever. Go enjoy nature. I'll talk to you guys later. And if you have any ideas, questions, comments, or money you want to throw at fish, go check out Aquatic Arts. Check out Flip Aquatics. Check out the Cichlid Exchange. I don't get anything from the Cichlid Exchange, but they're rad. I don't get anything from Flip either, but Rob's a nice dude. All right, guys. Talk to you later. Support your local fish keeper. Support your own family, friends, and attitude. Bye.